Hello everyone, today in this video, as in every video on this channel, we will fight against the adverse character of our world around us, and today we will leave for a while current events and go back into the past, but the past that it's largely forgotten. This past is largely forgotten due to many reasons, political reasons, but also it's forgotten mainly to incompetence of many historians, unfortunately, and the lack of interest in such topic. And the topic is extremely interesting. Now I would like to mention a book entitled Golden Rhinoceros, written by French historian Mr. François Javier Fouvel-Aymar. Yeah, he couldn't have smaller numbers of names and surnames, but this French historian did incredible job within his short book, because he described as accurately as possible history of African nations in the Middle Ages, understood as the period 8th century AD, beginning of 8th century AD, till the 15th century AD. And he used to write his book Chinese sources, Arabic sources, Islamic I would say, and Jewish sources, because they were also among others traders with the African nations, and later sources of European travelers and spies and adventurers who in the late Middle Ages also explored many of African territories. And the territory of interest is the Africa below the Islamic nations. So one should say sub-Saharan Africa, but not only, because on the pages of this book we have a lot of information about the trading routes between northern, those days already in majority Islamic Africa, and the African nations that were placed on the south. And many of them were, I would say, quite well organized in the state-like structures, and also had very nicely developed cultures, which what is especially seen in case of Ethiopia and Nubia. Very important information for me from this book, and also very nice, is that Mr. Fouvel-Aymar quoted fundamental works on Nubian history in the Middle Ages, especially the frescoes of Faras that were found and described by the team of Polish pioneer of Nubiology and Egyptology, Mr. Kazimierz Michałowski, and Mr. Fouvel-Aymar quotes his works with a proper respect, and it's nice that sometimes one can find references to the works that seem to be largely forgotten, especially outside, but sometimes nice surprise can meet the inquisitive reader that not all investigators on the West are so only limited to their own cultural zone, and they also use the works of other scholars who were working on similar topics before them. They just use properly the historical material and secondary and primary sources to present their own more accurate picture of the past of great territory from Sub-Sahara till South Africa, because this Golden Rhinoceros actually was the source of the title of the book. The source of the title of the book is the reference to the small statue of Golden Rhinoceros that was found in South Africa, and it's actually covered with the thin layer of gold, and there are some also other materials that fill this golden cover that construct the external part of this nice figure of Golden Rhinoceros. But further and more detailed investigations showed that many parts out of which this famous figure was created, they come from outside Africa, from Asia, from the territories of Southeast Asia, from India, and so on. So it nicely shows that African nations in the Middle Ages were not so isolated as we were thinking. There were many trade routes from the north and from the east, and most likely from the west also. I know that Mr. Pavel Aymar, he points it very accurately that he is not in favor of promoting diffusionist theories, that there were some pre-Columbian contacts between so-called old world and new world. In my opinion, they were much more frequent than we even can think, and in the future science will admit to this, but Mr. Pavel Aymar decided to stay neutral and cautious in this topic. I can understand it because he works in official academia, but despite the fact book is very interesting and very brave. And what I really liked is that Mr. Pavel Aymar also rejects, here I support him, any stupid racial-based theories that some people were seeing Africans, black Africans as worse or superior or inferior people. No, it's not true. For instance, he gives the example from 12th century how the falling Almoravid Empire ruler was asking the ruler of Ghana for help, and he even submitted to him. Yeah, because people in most cases, especially in the past, were much more pragmatic than we are. If his empire was threatened by opponents and he was in danger, his power, he simply was seeking for help wherever he could get the help. And no matter if the helpers were of lighter skin than him or darker skin than him. So I really like the approach to some problems Mr. Pavel Aymar presented. His sympathy to Ethiopian civilization is also very well seen, but not only. And only a small flaw I can just find in this book is too cautious approach to possible pre-Columbian contacts between Old World and New World, also including the giant continent that is almost as twice big as Russia, giant continent Africa. So very good book, Golden Rhinoceros. Worth reading, covers really neglected part of history that needs to be studied and many people will be interested. Author used Chinese, Jewish, Muslim and European sources and also archaeological artifacts found in Africa to reconstruct parts of the medieval African past. Worth reading, really interesting. Very good job of really scrupulous historian. Have a nice day. Bye.